Hey guys, Drifter here. I hope you enjoyed that kill in the intro. That's one of the most fun kills that I've gotten so far in Call of Duty Blackout. And the video, thankfully, is about the armor repair system, which has finally been added into the game after a whole month of community complaints and demands about having armor be valuable, scavengeable, repairable, shards, something like that. Treyarch finally made it where we can repair armor. So today I'm going to talk about that, the changes to the Blackout map, and the new weapons that have been added. We have a lot to talk about today, and I'm going to start with the map changes, and then we're going to move on to the armor system. So first of all, Blackout apparently got a graphical update. It has a better render distance, more clarity, less motion blur, better anti-aliasing. It just overall looks better. I don't have the hard specs or numbers for you yet on this one, but it appears to be not only a stability pass, but a playability pass, and it makes it way easier to spot people at distance. The base color saturation in Black Ops 4, not just in Blackout, but across the board, appears to have increased significantly. I thought it was just me. I thought it was just my monitor or my Elgato or something, but I talked to several other people, and they all told me that the color saturation was much higher. I didn't just screw around with color correcting here in the video. The map itself got a slight winter theme update. It has a blue haze over everything, which is, I guess, what they meant by fall colors. So the ambient lighting is primarily blue. If you look in the backgrounds of the desert, there's a big snowy mountains going on back there, so you can see snow and kind of have it somewhere on the map. I don't think they had time to program snow everywhere else. And lots of fall colored trees. The majority of the trees in the map have been swapped out for gold and brown and orange and just kind of fall color, so it looks like the leaves are shriveling and dying like it would naturally. Several of the map geometries have changed in various places. For me, the most noticeable one was at Hydro. We found the elevator, which you saw in the beginning of the map. That allows you to go from the bottom to the top and fight people more effectively. You don't have to climb up. And there's ladders too, in case you don't want to call the elevator. Also at Hydro, there's reworked walls and geometry inside, outside, and all around to provide a little bit more cover, because Hydro was really brutal if you landed on the top or if you tried to run across the bridge. The bridge is now covered. The tops have taller walls. There's now little basement paths that you can use to go to the elevators. So Hydro got a significant rework. While playing, I also noticed that Christmas music plays at gas stations, if you want to take a listen. Well, more accurately, I should say that Savage Mustang noticed. I personally did not. I couldn't even hear the music at the volume that I keep my headphones on, which is something we'll talk about later with the audio update that's supposed to be coming. They said that there were other map updates in Nuketown and I believe Estate and Firing Range. However, upon visiting those locations, we didn't find anything new. That doesn't mean it's not there. That just means that my group was unable to find it. Hijacked is coming tomorrow. I wish it was in tonight. I'd be dropping Hijacked every single time. And the new ARAV vehicle, which is the one that has the mounted machine gun on it, is also coming tomorrow. So I'll have more videos about that later on. New vehicles coming eventually. Now finally, let's talk about the armor system. Let's get into that. You can now repair your armor after it's taken damage. Armor has overall about the same level of protection as before. I haven't tested it, but I didn't notice any significant difference wearing level 1, 2, or 3. It more or less functions the same way as it did before, so if you run into a level 3 armor guy, it's going to take the same amount of shots to kill him as it did before. However, the armor is overall more durable, so when you kill somebody, it is much more likely that you will be able to pick up an intact piece of armor, albeit a damaged one. Throughout the couple of games I played to get the footage for this video, I was all the time finding half-broken level 2s, half-broken level 3s, little level 1s with some scraps floating around. There was scavengeable armor for the first time in forever, because most of the time, at least previously, when you would kill somebody, their armor would break, it would disappear, and there'd be nothing to pick up except maybe a trauma kit if you're lucky. If you break the enemy armor, you can no longer equip it, but it does drop armor pieces. So depending on what level is how many pieces it breaks. And these pieces allow you to always yield some kind of gains. So if you're in a gunfight and you and the other guy duke it out and your armor takes some hits and you bust his and kill him, you can still go take his armor pieces and repair your armor. You can also find these armor pieces randomly on the ground. You can find them in loot crates and stashes. And generally speaking, enemies carry these a lot. These are really high value items along with meds. So most of the time when you kill somebody, they're going to have a couple of armor pieces. The update isn't out on PC yet, so I don't know how you repair it there, but on PlayStation you can repair it via hitting the start button and going to the full menu, hovering over the armor shard and holding down square. Or you can do it through the quick equip menu and just covering over it and holding down square, but that does sort of limit your overall movements because you're doing other things with your fingers. It takes 2 seconds to spend 1 armor piece and repair your armor, and it seems to repair approximately 1.5 bars of armor, maybe not quite 2 bars of armor, and you will notice in the game that everybody now has armor bars. They're not just sort of linear little white lines. They're little blue bars with little individually sized boxes so that you can see the hit point difference between level 1, 2, and 3. Now, I haven't tested these yet to see what they've changed, but you obviously have more hit points on a level 3 armor than on a level 1, and the way they indicate this is a lot more of those little bars, kind of like the health system in League of Legends, or almost any MOBA if you've played that. So obviously it takes a lot more armor pieces to fully repair a level 3 than a level 1. However, we did have an instance playing tonight where Savage had like 10 armor pieces but no armor, and we killed a guy with level 3 armor that was mostly busted, but he was able to pick it up and repair it and get something useful out of that fight. I think this system is so much better. This is a massive improvement over what we had before. What we had before discouraged people from fighting because when you fought, you always just broke your armor and ended up defenseless. Now you can actually loot fresh pieces of armor, higher tier pieces of armor, more armor shards to repair, and I noticed that just in the games that I played tonight, people were playing more aggressively, which is a godsend. Moving along in this video, we need to talk about the new weapons. There are 2 new weapons added to Blackout. They'll be coming to regular multiplayer later, and of course I'll be working on some in-depths there. They were supposed to be in firing range only, but we really found them everywhere. I landed firing range a couple times and everybody and their grandmother lands there because they want to get the new guns, but I had no issues finding them anywhere else on the map. They are fairly common, so if you play Blackout tonight, you'll get to use them. The first weapon is the Swat Sft. This is an extremely good rifle. Everybody that used it had a very good time playing with it. It's a true competitor to the ICR in my opinion. It is a 5.56 weapon, and I noticed that it is much better with attachments. The base SWAT is a little bit rough in the recoil department. However, by the time you've got the grip and the stock and the everything else on it, it is much, much better. You can really maybe it kicks slightly more than the ICR, but I liked it. Everybody else liked it. It had a unique look. It was a coveted weapon when we played, and I would encourage you to pick it up and use it. Now, the Demon SMG, or the Demon SMG with the 3 on there, was not so hot because it's a 3-round burst SMG. Burst SMGs very rarely work well in Call of Duty games, and this one is no exception. I put mine on it, I loaded it down with attachments, I put a laser sight on there so that I could hip fire better, but ultimately it didn't seem to perform better than a Spitfire or a SOG or a shotgun or something like that for up close. My testing on it and my experience using it was not super amazing. I could be wrong. I'd love to test the damage more fully later when we get all of the stuff in multiplayer to see what the damage numbers are. For all I know, it could be a high damage SMG, but nobody in my group really liked it either. The clear winner, at least in popularity, was the SWAT Sft. The SWAT Sft is a very good weapon. There was an improvement in the kill feed and assist feed visual improvement, so when you shoot somebody and your teammate gets a kill, it pops up and shows your assist, and you can overall see how people are contributing mid-match better. There are new characters that appear to be ready to go and unlockable for zombies. We unfortunately did not get any little pieces, any challenge items, or we didn't get any story mission items to unlock these with. Nobody else was carrying them, so I'm assuming that they're ready and they'll be opening up tomorrow or maybe in a few days, maybe a couple at a time. I also could not tell a difference in the audio, so that's a big one that's supposed to be coming. I don't know if that was supposed to have come with this patch or if that's supposed to be coming in the future, but I personally could not tell a difference. As I mentioned earlier in this video, when I went to the gas station to try to listen to music, it was so quiet that I couldn't hear it, and when I turned it up loud enough to hear it, everything else was painful. I have been told that my experience of literally never hearing footsteps is unique to me. I listened to this game with my Astros on 15% volume, and I have sensitive ears, and loud noises are physically painful, so I have decided to go to an audiologist. I am going to go to an ear doctor and get my hearing tested and see if I have some kind of problem, because throughout my life, I have never been able to handle loud noises, so Blackout for me is a choice between being able to hear footsteps or physical pain. and I just choose not to hear footsteps. So whatever they did with the audio, if it changed, was not significant enough to affect me, but I may have medical problems. Some things that did not change so far, this is, we'll say, coming soon, TM, courtesy of Trademark. No camos yet, no custom games, no throwing snowballs, no snow on the map, on the ground anywhere yet, and no new limited time modes. They did tease some new modes and stuff in the trailer. None of that appears to be out yet. Of course, not Hijacked and the Arab as well, but those videos are tomorrow. Guys, that is all for this video. I hope that you have enjoyed it. I hope that you've learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.